Hi there, this is Shannon with Lovely Leaf Applique. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on one of our fan favorite embroidery designs. This is going to be the In the Hoop bow zipper pouch. You can find that design and many other In the Hoop embroidery designs at lovelyleafapplique.etsy.com. Okay, I have my fabrics cut. I did go ahead and interface the back sides. I'm going to be making a little purse for my daughter, and so I wanted to interface those just to make it a little bit thicker. We are going to prep the front pieces and the back pieces and the bow pieces. So to start, we'll do the bottom front piece. All you're doing is folding that in half. And same with the bottom front piece, which I have here. You can find the dimensions to cut in the instructions that come in your download. And then it also explains to you which way to fold and all that good stuff. So the front's ready to go. We're going to do, this is going to be the faux knot. And all I do for that is I fold it in half, and then I fold the insides in here, ever so carefully. Line up the edges and press again. And then as that cools, I just want to pin it, and then it'll cool nice and flat like that. For the bow's very simple. You're going to fold right sides in together and just do a nice pretty crease. Then our fabrics are prepped. Okay, the design is loaded on the machine and ready to go. I've actually already run step 1, which is just the placement stitches for your bow and your faux knot. When lining those up, we're going to take the bow piece. You want the side that opens to lay towards the top up here. It's going to sew the seam right here, so it's important that that is lined up where you want it. And then your faux knot, you're just going to place that inside that box as well. It should fit fairly perfectly. If you find that you don't have a nice little rectangle, I would suggest going back to the ironing board and straightening that out. I tend to be a little meticulous on that. I just think you get a better result. And what I'm doing now is I'm just using painter's tape to hold all these pieces in place. And then we're going to run the last stitch of that particular design that just sews those stitch lines together. Alright, that's stitched up pretty quick. Just now removing the tape and then also removing the items from the hoop. So you want to make sure you remove all the stabilizer. That one didn't come out as pretty. That's okay. So we're going to remove the stabilizer there. You may have some threads here from the placement stitching, and that's okay. You want to remove any loose threads really that you have on your faux knot. Alright. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn this inside out, and then we are going to sew this right side, pick which side you like best, and sew the right sides together to create a little loop, and I'll be right back to show you that. Okay, I've got my bow turned right side out. I have pressed it. For the bow, I do like to press the seam on the center of one side. That way it's not at the top or the bottom. It'll give you a fluffier bow, in my opinion. So you want that seam kind of in the middle of the back of one side. And then I have the little faux knot. I just put a little stitch there. You can do that by hand or with fabric glue or whatever your method is. Use pinking shears to help reduce the fraying and just trim that next to the sewing or the stitch line. And then we're going to rotate that inside out. Alright, and the final step for prepping the bow is threading this into this. And I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, here's the bow. Here's the seams are all on the back side. There's the seam for the knot and the seam for the bow. And anytime I'm doing anything in the hoop, I really try and press all my fabrics flat. And so I'm just going to do my best to do that with the bow. Pressing it flat will help it lay flat in the hoop when you go to sew it into your pouch. Okay, now that our bow's ready, we're going to go ahead and pin that to the bottom piece. It's all going to sew in together at the same time. The way I do it is you want the fold on the top, measure it down about 1/4 of an inch. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want about that. I also like to measure just to make sure that it's even for me, because sometimes my bow shifts. And then I pin in place, again trying to make sure it lays as flat as possible in your hoop. Alright? Okay, now we're going to begin the actual sewing down of the zipper pouch, excuse me. I've already run the placement stitch for the zipper. What you're going to do is you are going to lay your zipper down. A common question I get is, what size zipper do I buy? I buy 14-inch zippers in bulk. I know it's going to fit all my in the hoop projects, so I don't ever have to worry about if it's long enough. So you can find that online, on Amazon, on Etsy. Lots of sources for that where you can just buy them in bulk. Okay, so that has been laid down. Very important, you want to make sure all pieces are within those two lines. You don't want your zipper to shift at all. So the more secure the better. And we're going to sew that down now. Okay, we have run the tack down stitches for the zipper in there. And now I'm running the placement stitch for the top. Okay, we have the placement stitch set for the top here. I'm going to zoom in and try and get a better look here. And then we're going to take our top piece. You want the fold to be faced towards the zipper. I like to get fairly close to the zipper, but the stitch line right there, that's going to show you where it's going to stitch. So you do where you would like, and then we are going to tack that bad boy down. And when that's done, it's going to stitch the placement for your bottom piece. Okay, we've got the placement for the bottom stitch. We're going to repeat and put our fabric on top. There. Make sure your pins are fairly close away from the edge. You don't want your machine running over those. And then we are going to tack that down. Alright, our bow is tied down or stitched down. We're going to go ahead and remove the pins out of the way. And I'm also going to take this opportunity to open up the zipper as well. I just like to get that to the center. Just enough for you to be able to turn it inside out. Now we have the instructions, you'll notice, call for a little loop to sew in right there. However, I'm turning this into a little purse for my daughter, so I'm going to actually install 2 little straps on the top. And I'm going to turn that into a purse for her. If you have any questions, if you want a little loop there, it stitches a placement stitch and then a tack down stitch. If you have any questions, you can refer to the PDF instructions with your design, or you can shoot me a message. I went ahead and fast forward through that, and now I'm at the second to last step, and it's going to do a stitch all the way around. And I'm just going to fast forward that so it just stitches on the top here, and I'm going to tack those down real quick, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. Okay, those are tacked down there. Again, I just ran the next step. It's a stitch all the way around. It's the second to last step in the design. And then we're going to backtrack that again and run it again to sew the back of your purse or pouch on. So you're going to place your backside fabric right side down over the design. You'll notice that I have pulled the hardware as close to the center as possible and secured that in place, because you don't want that getting close to the line and getting caught up under your machine. It would be no bueno. So safety first. So we're going to lay that down over there. Again, I like to secure everything with my tape. This keeps everything from shifting. It helps everything lay flat so nothing bubbles up under you. And we're going to run that stitch around. Alright, we have the back piece tacked down. Now we're going to sew in the inside back piece. You're going to remove your hoop, turn it upside down. You should see something like this. I like to go ahead and remove the zipper, the piece of stabilizer over the zipper. And then I take my back piece of fabric. This is going to go right side down here. And I don't recommend spraying this to go on the bottom of your hoop. But again, use tape. I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. And if you're paying attention to your print, side of a print, you want to make sure you put that right side up like that. See? Okay. Okay, we have that all taped down. Load that back onto the machine. And then we are going to run the last stitch that sews that in. And then we're going to remove it from the hoop and start turning it inside out. Okay, before we turn, I like to reach in there and try and grab as much tearaway stabilizer as possible. I really like this stabilizer. It's just the Pellin brand from, Hobby Lobby and Joann's. They sell it on the bolt. It tears so easily, and it's really easy to work with, and yet still it's pretty durable. So, alright, we've removed that. Now we're going to turn it right side out. Alright, when you turn it right side out, you're going to be looking at the inside of your pouch. You're going to remove any leftover stabilizer, and you're going to trim any loose threads at this point. You want the inside of the bag to look just as pretty as the outside. So just go through and do that. And then we are also going to close the bag. So there's all that extra fabric we left when we cut around. You're just going to fold that in like so. You're going to grab some liquid stitch. I get mine on Amazon. You can find it at any fabric store. It is fast drying, permanent adhesive, fabric adhesive. And I'm going to go ahead and just put some in there. Hold that down and let that dry. Okay, once that dries, we're going to finish unzipping. And we're going to fold it one more time to the outside. You're going to turn all your corners out nice and pretty. And you should have something that looks like that. Zip her up. Give her a nice press. Let's see a little corner. I want to turn out a little bit more. I like my corners to be as clean as possible. And then give it a nice little press. And you, my friend, have a beautiful bow zipper pouch. This is the 5x7 design. It's perfect for a young girl. This is going to be one of my daughter's birthday presents. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, you can find this design at lovelyleafapplique.etsy.com. Y'all have a blessed day.